Welcome to Retro Bus. The year is 1998 and you need a video card. Everyone wants a Voodoo, of course, but there are many challenges, and one of them is this, the Matrox G200. If you wanted crisp, sharp 2D, a nice bit of 3D as well, this was a great choice. Today, we're gonna have a look at this card, run it through 6 classic games and see how did it fare. Did you make a good decision or a really bad one? We're gonna find out. So what we'll do is look at this card, its specs, a little bit about its history, and then get it gaming. Let's go. Released in mid-98, the Matrox G200 was the company's answer to the rapidly growing 3D gaming market. While 3DFX and Nvidia were battling for the performance crown, Matrox focused on delivering an all-round graphics card that combines solid gaming performance with some of the best 2D image quality in the industry. So the specs for the Matrox G200 are the core running at 84 MHz, and we have 8 MB of SG RAM running at 112 MHz across a 64-bit bus with an AGP 2x interface. Now the card that I have here today is a G200A. Now this was released after the G200. It was essentially the same chip, but it was a die shrink. So they went to 250 nanometers down from the original 350, which made the chip run cooler and more efficient. So doesn't need that heatsink. Okay, so here is our test system. Going for something that's going to be period correct, close to the time that the Matrox G200 came out, so we can get a real experience of what it was like. So what I have is a Pentium II 400 MHz slot 1. My favorite, I love this format. 128 meg of RAM, got a network card and a sound card as well. Just a cheap and nasty crystal audio, but it works. And here is the star of the show, Matrox G200. Let's get that in there. Okay, and here we are with Matrox's legendary 2D performance. You know what? The colors it renders are actually pretty damn impressive, I must say. So the way that Matrox's 2D acceleration works is it actually offloads transforming 2D objects such as moving them around the screen, scaling and rotation onto the processor on the actual graphics chip rather than the CPU. So the Matrox drivers are pretty cool. You know, you get your own little cute little sidebar with Matrox, you know, display properties, Windows positions, all this stuff that you can sort of set straight from its own custom little taskbar. Okay, so let's kick it off with Moto Racer, made by Delphine Software in 1997. So you'd think this should run fine. Frame rate's looking great already. So this game was made 1 year before the video card was. You would think that it should handle it pretty fine. Let's have a look. The colors on the screen look fantastic, I must say. The Matrox 2D color stuff is very true. Look, this frame rate looks awesome. Look at this. Look at this. This is talking 60 FPS here. It is not dipping under 55. Oh, this feels so good. It's really just so snappy. I don't think I've played the game this well on this sort of hardware. This is really surprising. What a great start for the Matrox G200. This is a real surprise. I've run this game with cards that came out after the Matrox and it ran terrible. So this is doing really well. Yeah, the colors look fantastic as well. And really, I just noticed the signal from the card. There's no, because I'm using VGA, and honestly, when I use VGA, sometimes there's a little bit of slight softness, but this one, none at all. It's almost like I'm using a DVI cable. Just really crisp. Moto Racer, great game, highly recommended. Used to play this a lot with workmates in the office. Later on a Friday, when things were quiet, you know, we're a big tech support crew. And we used to get a phone call from the guys in the other campus, working at a university, saying, let's fire up Moto Racer. And we would play a LAN game across campuses to see who would win. Just going through all the tracks. Great times, great fun. So this is a game that runs on Direct3D. I'm not sure which version, but yeah, this game is running perfectly fine. It'll be interesting to see when we get to OpenGL games, because this card's OpenGL performance was the questionable one. But this game, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Wow, that's awesome. What a great start for the Matrox G200. Okay, still in 1997, Quake II. So with this card, what I've read is that it doesn't have a native OpenGL driver. It has some sort of a wrapper that translates OpenGL to Direct3D, which is supposed to give it terrible OpenGL performance. That's what Google tells me. So let's have a look and see if it can do OpenGL. I have installed the latest drivers that I could find from the Matrox website, so hopefully they had that sorted out by now. This is in software mode. Let's see if we can get it running in OpenGL. Default OpenGL. All right, come on, Matrox. Oh yeah, look at that, we're gold. Yep, it's running it fine. So 640 by 480, OpenGL. Frame rate looks pretty good too. 30s is fantastic. What more could you ask? This is 1997 for Christ's sake. All right, start a new game. All right, look at this. 30s, mid 30s. Oh yeah, very nice. Yep, so look, it's rendering all the textures correctly. Looking pretty good. So, you know, I've ran this game with cards after this, again, like the terrible S3s, and it looked shocking. This is pretty good. For 97, 98, you'd be very happy to be running a card like this. You know, it's not quite voodoo, but it's not that far either, I must say. This is looking pretty good. This Matrox G200 is really surprising me. And look, even outside, this is where frame rates really take a hit. And you know what? We're still mid-20s here. Looking really good. The colors and the signal is so clear. You know, again, running VGA cables, it picks up so much more noise normally. And I've got a decent enough VGA cable, but it still does from the video card. Whereas this just feels like it's just much less noisy, just more crisp. You know, Matrox cards were legendary for DOS and Windows. You know what? Let's crank it up. Let's try 800 by 600 and see how we go. Frame rate, it's not too bad in here. Actually, it hasn't taken a massive hit. Oh, okay, when we come out here, we do. Yep, okay, now I can sort of feel it. I can, especially when there's a lot of action here. Renders the scene very nicely. The textures look great. The colors look great. Look at this, lovely. What more could you ask for? This, pretty good. I'm really surprised. You know, Matroxes aren't really made, you know, they weren't really pushing that gaming market. They were pushing more professional market with 3D capability, but this is a very impressive start so far. Very good. So now in the year 1998, the year that this card was released, you went and you bought Need for Speed. Of course you did. Tell you what, these logos are really animating quickly. It's a good sign. This frame rate looks great as well. Now check the options. What's our resolution? That's fine, 640 by 480. This is another game that uses Direct 3D. Seems to be locked at 30, which is great. 30 frames per second is pretty damn good. Yeah, it renders the scene very nicely. The car shadow looks decent enough. Sometimes some cars render that car shadow just as a grey box. My driving is terrible. Wow, these guys are rough. The resolution isn't very high, 640 by 480, but that's fine. This is pretty good for 98. Car reflections, which are way over the top on this game, mind you, look pretty good. Well, it's great. This track looks great. The clouds look amazing, actually. Just noticed that the colors are really coming across very nicely. I mean, this is an 8 megabyte card, so it's. I'm very impressed, I must say. I was expecting, you know, it to really struggle and have very poor performance, but this is pretty damn good. A lot of people bought Matrox cards for the 2D and then they would add a Voodoo for the 3D. But you know, this card handles the 3D pretty damn good. I don't know if you'd need it. Yeah, I think this card can do much better than that. It's just, I think the V-Sync is tripping up here. Unfortunately, I can't turn it off. So yeah, awesome. What a great performance. Well done. On to the next game. Okay, here we are with Unreal. So I've had to bump the resolution up to 800 by 600 because for some reason 640 by 480, my capture device didn't capture it. So we're going to bump it up. Let's see how we go. We'll start a little bot match. So far, it's looking awesome. Textures look fantastic. This is the alternate intro, but yes, when there's a lot of objects on the screen, it does start to stutter a bit. Let's have a look at the game. Haha, yeah, look at this. The classic Deck 16. Yeah, look, you know, it's looking pretty good. Frame rate's not the best, but you know, it's at 640 by 480, I'm sure it would run a little bit better. Otherwise, it doesn't feel too bad. In the more closed spaces, obviously it's more forgiving. You know, it's bumping up to 30 here. Once we get into a big open space, it does start to suffer with the frame rate. Oh, the razor gun. I used to love this. That I used to bounce the razors around. This was so cool. I mean, just no other game had that. So yeah, look, you know what? It is pretty responsive, even though the frame rate isn't super high. It's good enough. Oh my! I'm getting my ass kicked. The bots were tougher in the original Unreal, much more than the UT games, these were very acceptable frame rates for 1998. You know, when I first played this game, I did it on a Voodoo 1 with 4 megabyte of RAM. The original one, you had to have a 3DFX card. So this is Unreal Gold, and it does have the Direct 3D API, but the original Unreal did not. This is a blockbuster game that came out in 98, so to be able to play the game at these sorts of frame rates, you'd be pretty damn happy. Great little campaign on this as well. Multiplayer was fantastic. Yeah, what an absolute legend of a game. And at 800 by 600. This card just keeps surprising me. It really does. Okay, FIFA 99. This did come out in 98, by the way. Late 98 was when this game was released. They always release them towards the end of the year before. Okay, this is another game that's Direct 3D, running at 640 by 480 resolution. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to render this. Frame rate's looking pretty good. Again, 30s, oh, 60s, what on earth? This is looking pretty good. Oh, 60 frames per second is actually really good. This is amazing. I don't think I ever got this sort of frame rate. I can't remember what card I was using when I had this game, but yeah, this is pretty damn solid. Wow. Yeah, it's running really well. Oh my God. My team is just watching. Come on, get it out. Whoa. This is why you don't button mash. All of a sudden, all those instructions get queued up. Wow. Jesus, man. I don't know what you're going to do to score in this game. That was a top corner crack. Yeah, this game looks great. I can't believe it. That frame rate is absolutely locked on 60. It is not going below that frame rate. I mean, this game came out obviously on PlayStation and all those sorts of other platforms, but there's no way around these sorts of frame rates. It always looks so much better on PC, especially when you had good hardware like this. Yeah, you know what? This Matrox card just keeps surprising me. That was great. 60 frames the whole time. Man, all right, next game. Okay, we can't go through 98 without playing Half-Life. So I'm going to go with Direct 3D, since this is what this card prefers. I'll go 640 by 480. All right, I'm not getting a frame counter, unfortunately. Let's see, L underscore show FPS 1, was it? There we go, what a memory. Okay. Look at that, so 30 FPS, that's looking good. Oh, well, that really bumps up when it gets a bit more simple in the geometry. 30 is pretty damn good. Let's have a look. We're going to hit some action now. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of stuttering. But generally, it's pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty low resolution. 640 by 480, as we can see. You know, this is Half-Life. You would play it any way you could. You know, this is an 8 meg Matrox card. So, oh, it's starting to struggle here when we get out into the open, bigger open area like this. Look at this. Oh, 7 FPS. Oh, when this helicopter comes in, it's going to really get, oh, things are really going to go nuts, yeah. But you know what? I would be interested to see what it's going to go like with OpenGL. Let's try it. All right, so let's go OpenGL 640 by 480. For some reason, I'm not sure what it is in this game, but Fraps, when it comes to Direct 3D, it just doesn't show the FPS counter. This game generally did prefer OpenGL. I mean, especially with NVIDIA cards, OpenGL was definitely the way to go. But this, it looks really good. I mean, oh, okay. So it had a bit of a real stuttery pause there for a sec. You know, it looks, frame rate wise, I must say, I think this looks, this actually looks better. It looks better. I feel like I'm getting a better frame rate with OpenGL. You know, this is in the earlier days. We always preferred OpenGL. OpenGL was the way to go. You know, Microsoft's DirectX, especially Direct 3D in the early days, was actually pretty poor performance. But look at this is, yeah, this is way better with OpenGL. It's actually rendering at much better frame rates. Look at this. Yeah, this is where the other one really struggled. Yeah, look, this is still much better. The other one dropped down to about 7 frames here. Yeah, for sure. OpenGL is definitely better. There you go. You know, there we have it. The Matrox G200 playing Half-Life without too much of a problem. Resolution's low, yes, given that, but it's still, you can play it. There we have it, the Matrox G200. What a wonderful card. You know, all the cards from 98 era obviously live in the shadow of 3DFX and the Voodoo cards, but this was a pleasant and a great little card. And you know, Matrox's big selling point always was their image quality, and a crisp, clean image. And you know what? As advertised, it really does deliver. Yes, it wasn't the fastest card of the time, but you know, for a retro box, this is an excellent option because you know, all the games aren't 3D. There's some great 2D games like StarCraft, and you know what? That would look fantastic on this with its crisp, sharp graphics. And this card does have quite a fan base. I see a lot of people talk about the Matrox G200 series, and it is very well deserved. Made a fan out of me, that's for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this trip back to 1998. Thank you for everybody that supports my channel. If you would like to also support my channel, link is in the description. Thank you for everybody that does. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next retro adventure. Bye-bye.